our sectors, the agricultural industry has had, COVID-19 has had a tremendous impact on the agricultural sector. A lot of our farmers normally serve the tourism industry, the hospitality market, and with the shutdown of the tourism industry because of COVID-19, and they lost that market. So what we saw earlier was that there was a lot of excess surplus produce that didn't have any market, and clearly if they have no market, then those produce would end up spoiling and the farmers would lose their resources, and it would really threaten our food security.
I don't think there's any industry that has not been affected by COVID-19. COVID-19 came to Jamaica's shores March 10th, and I don't believe anything has been the same. We've seen crippling effects, especially in the tourism industry, and it's stretched across to the restaurant world, food and beverage, and now it's gone to even media, and many small businesses just really struggling to not shutter their doors, to keep people employed and have business continuity.
COVID for us, like everybody else, I would coin to say it was like a thief in the night. Even though international were here in the news around the world, when it came to our shores, I would say that we were not quite prepared for the onslaught of COVID.
Farmers have been severely impacted by COVID-19 in many areas. I'm going to touch on the area first, which is the area of marketing. Prior to COVID-19, farmers have been contracted by individuals, by companies to produce for the hotel sector. Now, as you all have seen, that the hotel sector had taken a nosedive in terms of occupancy and the restriction and, of course, closure. And the excess production out there that the farmers have at hand were very challenging for them to dispose of.
Well, the truth is, we can't possibly make up the shortfall for the fallout in tourism right now. It's just impossible. And not even simply in the demand of product, but also in terms of disposable income. You're looking at probably 200 to 250,000 people without work now. It's a trying time. We had a record year for crops, sweet potato, Irish potato, onions, all these things that we really celebrate as we boost and increase local production and we consider import substitution. But then, poof, COVID.
Part of what we did from earlier was to send RADA out into the field to quantify the sort of excess that we were looking at right across our parishes. They did that, they did a report, and then we spoke with the Ministry of Finance to see if we could, in our surplus, in our response to COVID, to see if we could get an allocation that would enable us to purchase produce from our farmers. So the ministry enacted a excess purchase produce buyback system. So we got $240 million that we took from our own resources at MICA, and we started a process of partnering with private purveyors to go out into the field to buy some of the excess produce and then to redistribute through a number of channels. So that has been our main response. I think thus far it has been going well.
RADA is about providing extension services to farmers. We work along with the farming communities and stakeholders to get across information pertinent. And when I mean pertinent, I really mean technical information suitable for improvement in production and productivity of the farmers' production system. Now, RADA has both extension and social services areas. The social services areas address issues relating to nutrition, value-added products, and of course the social aspect of the farm family. So we have a team of social services officers, one per parish, and those persons work closely with the groups, community groups. So while they focus on the farm family, the extension officers focus on the farmer himself in providing technical services in the area of crop and animal husbandry, necessary for the improvement of the farmer's bottom line, which is his farm income.
What we did was, one, to partner with the private sector who would have sufficient storage, would have the capacity in terms of transportation. Again, what you find, you also had a number of purveyors who would normally supply the hotel sector. And purveyors are those people who buy from farmers and then distribute to the hotels. And they now would have excess capacity in terms of storage. So we utilized them, and they literally went out into the field with our radar officers, bought what we saw was in excess, melon, cantaloupe, tomato, honeydew, and then redistribute.
What RADA did in association with the ministry, that is MICOF, is to engage those purveyors who normally supply the hotel sector on behalf of the farmers to reintroduce these products to the wider population. And in so doing, we were able to move, and still is, in excess of 700 tons of produce out of a couple of parishes, mainly the western parishes, chiefly St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Trelawney, Clarendon, Westmoreland, and of course, to a limited extent, St. Mary, Hanover. We advanced two major purveyors, that is Ansegolab and Son and Gladstoneberry Purveyors Company. And we gave them a contract to buy the produce from the farmers for resale at a reasonable price to consumers right across the island, being advanced in excess of close to $60 million for the repurchase. And these guys, what they do is that they go into the farming communities along with the RADA officers. The RADA officers will be responsible for organizing the farmers so that they come to a central point for pickup, weigh. Once the product is weighed, then the farmer is issued with a receipt, and the money is remitted to his account if he has one, or a check will be written to the farmer. So we were able to alleviate the farmer's plight significantly by moving off the excess produce. We have moving produce to town centers, Kingston, different locations in Kingston, Mandeville, Montego Bay, and of course on the North Coast. We have also widened the network of purveyors that we have. We have 3 coming on board in short order, and they will be assisting with the additional distribution to other areas where these large purveyors have not penetrated as yet.
With every adversity, there is opportunity. And it's been nice because we've seen increased collaboration with a number of private sector and public sector organizations. And you really see where we're coming together. We're collaborating and looking at how can we improve things beyond COVID. Because the truth is, COVID is a major setback, but there will in fact be life after COVID. So we need all hands on deck to just ensure that we find the best solutions and strategies to pull us through.
So the redistribution took, I would say, 3 channels. One, we firstly looked at areas that were in need. And as you know, agricultural produce has a shelf life. So for the ones that wouldn't last very long, we redistributed to our quarantine communities. And it ended up that some of our quarantine communities got some of the best fruit and vegetables that they've ever experienced, quite frankly. And that's largely because, again, if you're preparing your fruits and vegetables for the hotel industry, it has to be A grade, yes? So we distributed to quarantine communities like corn peas. We've also done so now in St. Mary, in that quarantine community. So that was one option. We also looked to government entities that we thought had a special need that we could offer special prices. So we engage our children homes, we engage our prisons, and we've got really good support from the Department of Correctional Services, our prisons, and we redistributed to that. The other 2 areas are, one, you know, people were familiar with farmers market, but with what was happening, we were unwilling to bring in farmers because of the social distancing and things of that nature. So we started mobile mats. So really what that is a truck, a box truck, a refrigerated truck from a private sector partner, one of our purveyors who works with us, that would go into different areas. So they would come, they would go to Hope Gardens, they would offer a special package. So Rada team put together what we call our fruit and vegetable deal for a special rate. And that went very, very well. And we went into areas like Manchester, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Catherine, especially when there was the lockdown in Portmore. We went in and we resold the produce well. And the third area is to partner with other private sector partners. So what we have said to people is, listen, we are able to source this agricultural produce. If you're interested in buying and redistributing, we can do things like give you special rates. We can do things like provide the transportation of the produce. So to get more private sector persons involved in the purchase of agricultural produce and the redistribution. And that has gone extremely well. In fact, a lot of our private sector partners now have their own farmers market, their own box deals, their own delivery service, home delivery service. So we're very happy about some of those models.
Before, especially in Jamaica, there were some people reluctant to really embrace the digital side of things, social media and what have you. But now there's really no other way to engage with people, as you know, they're encouraged to social distance and stay at home.
Jamgora pretty much was created to allow small and medium-sized businesses to gain a wider platform of customers, to be able to reach more locally and internationally. And pretty much what we do, allow them to create their account and add their products on our website. And persons all over the world actually are able to purchase products directly from the platform. And we pretty much are able to move the products from their store to customers wherever they are. Since the coronavirus reached Jamaica, there actually has been a lot of new merchants pretty much looking to sell online and seeking out Jamgoras on that option. We've been helping them to put their products on the platform. In addition to that, there are a lot of persons who are working from home and persons who really don't want to venture out in public, are more willing to purchase online now. So ever since the coronavirus reached Jamaica, they both on the merchant side and the buyers, the customers, have increased in numbers. Recently, well, since the coronavirus, pretty much since February, we have reached out to, and some farmers actually have reached out to us to start moving some of their products because, you know, they're not seeing some of those customers coming to them physically, and they want to reach some customers who are unable to reach to them. And we have been guiding them in terms of giving them some of the need to know of selling their products online. You know that the local produce, they typically have a very short lifespan, and our customer base is pretty much locally and internationally. So we don't want to only provide just the local market, but be able to provide to the international market. And one of those guidelines is that for international shoppers, they would have to use the expedited shipping because, you know, for example, a yam can be in transit for more than 6 to 10 days. You want to get it to customers within less than 6 days. So locally we ship products. They are delivered within the 1 business day, 1 to 2 business day, and internationally for the local for the agricultural products, we pretty much are moving them within 2 to 6 business days. You know, right now as it is, now the persons are not really interested to go to the coronation market, so they wouldn't mind getting the same coronation price and having product delivered directly to their home. And pretty much that's what they're getting right now, and they're loving the convenience, and we're hoping to expand on that.
As we crafted the responses to COVID-19, we realized that probably the most significant response that we could craft is to get more Jamaicans to buy more local produce. Clearly, if you have lost your part of your biggest market, which is the hospitality sector, you have to drive demand in other areas. And I think a lot of us don't recognize how much what we consume is imported and how we have kind of been grown on imported consumption patterns. So we wanted to change that. So we met with the private sector. We agreed that we're going to embark on a Say Yes to Fresh campaign, the new campaign to encourage people to buy Jamaican fresh produce and fresh meat, right? To when you go out to buy with purpose. So think about what you're buying, who are you supporting? The reality, which I think people recognize now. If you go out and you go into the supermarket and you buy local yam, that money goes to a farmer. And that farmer is then encouraged to plant again. So if you want to solve food security, ensure that we have a robust demand for our local produce. The long and short is what we've been saying is buy with purpose, and also not only buy with purpose, support our farmers. And it has been going well. We have a lot of private sector partners on board, a number of our agricultural based producers such as CB and Jamaica Broilers. They are on board with us, and all of us, including the JMEA and the PSOJ, have been rolling out this campaign. We've launched a new video to celebrate our farmers, just reminding people that regardless of what profession you are, it's the farmer who feeds us all. I think it has taken root, and we're really excited to see how it has picked up traction.
The king may rule over land and sea. The Lord may live right royally. The soldier ride in pomp and pride. The sailor roam over ocean wide. But this or that, whatever befall, the farmer, he must feed them all.
One thing that we always talk about is the critical mass, I like to call them, which are some of the smaller farmers, which make up such a huge part of rural Jamaica and entrepreneurs and small businesses that we really have to have continuity when we think about the country. So Say Yes to Fresh is an answer to get the consumer's mind to think that buying a Jamaican produce, Jamaican meat, Jamaican fruit is important now more than ever before, and hope that we convert them to, in fact, say yes to fresh, to choose the fresh item now and prepare a healthy, immune-boosting meal or snack.
We are working and we are resolute in lifting the standard of agriculture in Jamaica, and also to ensure that we have ample supply of foods our consumers can have a better health, because fresh food coming from the farmers compared to foods coming from some other jurisdiction which were in storage for months or years. We want to eliminate that by supporting our local farmers to produce fresh produce.
Food security and sustainability has been two topics that has been ventilated at all levels. What COVID has shown us is that it's now more than ever. It has been an eye-opener, I think, for the people of Jamaica. For one, we're eating healthier. I can tell you from a personal perspective that in my home, we're eating more fruits, we're eating more vegetables. We've not put on any weight during COVID because we're snacking on nutritious meals.
The consumers are getting a little taste of all that Jamaica has to offer in its produce and fresh vegetable and fresh fruit offering. And the truth is, even myself, sometimes I go, wow, I didn't even know we grew this. I didn't know we had so much of this. You know, I mean, the melons that I've been having over the last few weeks have been so sweet. And, you know, I heard somebody say, Lord, this tastes like foreign. And I'm like, hey, but it's all locally grown. And you said yes to fresh.
This is a time when Jamaicans have realized that we have the capacity to feed ourselves. We have the capacity to feed our brothers and sisters in the region. Even though, you know, there has been a lot of fallout in other industries, the tourism industry has taken a phenomenal hit. We have recognized that if it's one thing that is constant, we all must eat. We may not eat 3 meals per day, but we must eat in order to survive, and we must eat nutritiously. Our farmers, they have shown us that they have the capacity to feed Jamaicans. They have shown us the willingness, the understanding, the fortitude. I could go on with so many descriptives about our farmers. And they have shown Jamaican people that we have this, we got it.
That is one of the challenges that we have able to have a positive impact on. The other one is that there were restrictions in some of the areas where you have quarantine, communities. And the challenge was for farmers to get to and from their farm. So we had to forge a relationship with the security forces. And of course, with the requisite IDs of the farmers bearing the RADA logo, some of these guys were able to go out. The restrictions extend to those farmers who are ages between 65 and 75, which are more vulnerable to the COVID, worse if they have underlying health issues. That was a challenge. So we managed to work out something so that the farmers' household members could be able to assist, especially with the reaping of these crops. Because when crops are ready for reaping, and if you don't, then you're going to sustain some level of loss. So we were able to work closely with the security forces to address that. The other challenge that we have, which is the whole issue of climate change. Right now, we have been suffering from severe droughts in some of the more productive zones. You can speak of South St. Elizabeth, South Manchester, South Clarendon, and of course the Yalas Plain, where farmers have been impacted significantly by water shortage. And water is very important for agriculture. So we have formulated a program. The ministry is advancing $100 million to provide irrigation kits to farmers. And while that is being done, we always advise farmers of best practices as to how to conserve water using mini drip systems. We're also looking at, the whole issue of getting farmers to be aware of, water harvesting mechanisms. So rather than you buying water, you could work out a way how you trap water from your roof, or you could build sheds in your farm connected to a black tank, from which irrigation hoses are connected. And of course, you could help in mitigating some of your losses by having additional water supplies. While COVID has really impacted the farmers negatively, there are some levels of success that we can report on. And by virtue of our intervention, the farmers would have lessened in terms of the plight that they would have had facing this challenge.
I think it has taught us a number of things which we already knew but probably didn't really acknowledge. One, that we have some of the best farmers and fishermen in the entire world, and that they can work through difficult circumstances, that they're very resilient, and that their produce is top quality. I think it has also taught us that we do have enough food in a number of areas to feed ourselves, that we have enough fruits, that we have enough vegetables, And that if we were to invest some more from all sectors into agriculture, then we would never have to question whether we will be able to feed ourselves. It also taught us that there's still a lot of work to be done in relation to our logistics and distribution mechanisms. I think it brought into sharp focus that there are a lot of points of demand with limited supply, which ends up putting the cost of agricultural produce out of the reach of the average citizen. So the more you can plug those gaps, the more there are business models that can take the produce from the farmer directly to the end user, is the better for agriculture, the better for the end user, and the better for that person who develops that distribution mechanism. So I think COVID-19 has taught us that while we can really solve our logistic and distribution challenges if more of our private sector partners get involved, but that there's a huge demand for agricultural produce. I think that has come in sharp focus. When you put agricultural produce at a good price, there is a tremendous demand.
As it relates to farmers, many of them through government intervention and the Say Yes to Fresh campaign have really seen like an uptake in their produce. What we would like to see more of, however, is the end of the value chain to help with the pricing mechanism. You see where RADA has stepped in and other entities to host farmers markets. And when you're able to bring the product direct to the consumer, you know, they enjoy more because they have greater purchasing power. Again, it's just about all hands on deck and looking at all of the strategies to determine what is best. Because it's a fluid time. I mean, every day it's something new.
As we reflect, we will be coming out of COVID one way or the other. We'll have the right side up. And so it is not unusual for Newport First and Jamaica Limited to give back to our farmers. We have done that with many other disasters, and I'm going to call COVID a disaster. It is a natural disaster. We have done that in the past, whether it's a hurricane or a fire, and so the management and board of Newport First and decided that the company would give back to the tune of $3.8 million fertilizers to our farmers, and we've called it our post-COVID planting handover to the Rural Agricultural Development Authority and the Jamaica Agricultural Society, and we will be giving back to our farmers 2,000 bags of fertilizers for both agencies to distribute. And we chose them because at the end of the day, they have been our partners from the first day that we laid down a block in Jamaica. And they are the ones who are on the ground. I can use RADA, for example, with their extension services, marketing officers, and all their RADA parish managers across Jamaica. They have over 200 employees on the ground. They know, just as we do, who our farmers are and who will be most in need. And so it was quite fitting that we would have chosen the two agencies who are on the ground speaking with our farmers, along with the First Hand team, to ensure that those who need the fertilizer more than ever now will be able to even get a bag. This is our give back to our farmers, to say to them that we are appreciative, we support you, we continue to support you, we are mindful that these are challenging times for you. And so, you know, First Hand wanted to give back to our farmers.
Our slogan says we are the people's station, and for more than 10 years, PBCJ has been providing unique content to this growing market. Let us show you how we can serve you. We are small compared to our competitors, but it's our size that gives us the ability to dedicate ourselves to our clients. We move your project from concept to completion, keeping our activities in-house so we can make decisions in a timely and efficient manner. We have a creative, energetic, and youthful team ready to take your ideas to the next level. So what can we do for you? PBCJ has mastered the art of feature presentations, studio interviews, and PSAs. We also stand ready to create content for your social media platforms and make your message accessible anywhere, anytime. We also provide streaming for your conferences, seminars, and workshops. And guess what? You don't have to break the bank because our fees are some of the most competitive in the market. And just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we air it free. You heard right. We air it free for you. So call the PBCJ at 876-754-7225 or email us at production@pbcjamaica.org. We are waiting to serve you.
Food is very important, and what has been happening is that most people have to be at home. Schools have closed, children are at home, and of course you can have all the gadgets and the technologies. You cannot be happy without food. So we have to rally around the farmers, and the stakeholders have been really out there working with the farming communities, providing not only physical resources but also technical resources that complements what RADA is offering out there. So they are very important to us, and of course the things that they are doing will only propel us to get the farmers back into production at the shortest possible time. Our government alone cannot do it. So we welcome any initiative by stakeholders to help us to get back the farmers into production.
I think the notion of supporting Jamaica is one that everybody needs to jump on board. You know, sometimes you hear people complain, oh my gosh, the US dollar is scarce or the dollar is running. We don't realize that every time we have to take a US dollar to make a purchase abroad to import something, how much we affect the economy. We see the fallout in COVID, where there has been a reliance on the tourism industry. And we know that that is not going to be feasible in the future. We need to become a more productive society, to get more people gainfully employed, to teach them a skill, to reinvest and get robust production and manufacturing, to really have another viable industry.
One of the things going forward that we have to do is to see how we can ramp up production. While doing that, we also focusing on value added. We have engaged Tradewind Citrus Company for the production of juice. We have an excellent blend from pineapples, tomato, and ginger, which could be an alternative to the bag juice, sugary bag juice that will really impact negatively on students' performance and both in nutrition and health. And we are looking at other avenues to see how we can process like excess fruits. We have a lot of mangoes each year that goes to waste. We have papayas, we have pineapples, and of course other fruits, OTT apple. All of these things can be processed and put into a value-added production system where you can enjoy them even after the season has passed.
Let me tell you, we have an extensive market for a number of Jamaican produced items. The world cannot get enough of our peppers, the world cannot get enough of our ackee, our yam, dasheen, cocoa. We just have to ramp up production. And I think hopefully more people recognize now with this COVID-19 that agriculture is a real opportunity. And if you invest in agriculture, it can pay off, right? So we really want people to work with JAMPRO and ensure that they look at these markets and produce for these markets.
We have thousands of acres of idle lands out there. If you drive on the South Coast Highway going back into Clarendon, looking on both sides, you can see large acreages of undeveloped properties. We are encouraging farmers to take up these. So we are working with the National Land Agency and the other government agencies, the Agro-Invest Corporation, to get farmers regularized and to put these farmers on these properties. We also want to focus our effort on the backyard gardening. It's very critical, especially for the urban and peri-urban areas where, persons can, get involved in the production of fruits and vegetables as well as condiments, herbs and spices. I mean, the therapeutic value of getting into, herbs and spices And of course, by just being out there, burning some calories in the backyard, very important. And you doesn't have to have a lot of space. We can use what is called vertical agriculture. So you can use like the PVC pipe. We have like the College of Agriculture Science and Education have some prototypes. And of course the Ebony Park Hard Academy, where you could mount them at a specific area, put some holes in them and connect a nutrient tank. So the water circulates through the PVC and the plants, which would be planted at intervals, would feed from the flowing water with the nutrients, which is basically a soilless production system. And of course, we could have small organic plots. The peeling skin from the kitchen could be used to enhance the soil value in the backyard, and these are things that we could assist with. If you have old tires, old drums, you could put soil in them, a mixture of soil with organic matter and a little fertilizer. And you could grow fruits and vegetables, which could be, an alternative to going to the market to buy expensive stuff. You could be producing some of what you consume in the household, the peppers, the tomatoes, and of course the RADA officers are out there in the field who can provide some technical advice. We have literature to support, so the farm family can read and practice what they would have read, and of course, and get the thing going. So we could have a new type of urban agriculture, complementing the wider agriculture out there in the country. As a matter of fact, we have just submitted a proposal to the ministry, that's MyCAF, in the tune of close to $60 million for support to push backyard gardening. Because we see that as something that could enhance food security.
I believe we will come out of COVID-19 stronger than before we went in. I believe that the distribution methods that we have set up and that we have facilitated during this time, they will last. They're sustainable. I believe that once you've started getting fresh produce delivered to your doorstep, you will want that to continue. So I believe we'll see new entrepreneurs come out of this crisis. I believe agriculture will be stronger. I believe we have a better hold now on how we respond to what used to happen when we have gluts in the market. So we have a full-fledged response mechanism and team now. So I think you will see less gluts, you will see a better distribution channel, more creative things continue like drive-through markets. So I think agriculture will be stronger. I think Jamaica will be stronger. And I think our country will continue to grow, to shine, and will continue to do well.
Even though we are practicing social distancing and we're mindful of the kind of interaction that we need to have in the trade, our team is still out there having that one-on-one with a farmer. Whether it's from a distance, whether it's from on the phone, we're still doing the farm visits as best as we can in a very safe way. We have often heard that Jamaican farmers are resilient, they're hardworking. These are truths. But at the end of the day, what I want to say on behalf of the company to our farmers who are watching this and those who are not farmers, but they can understand the importance of a farmer, is that at this time more than ever, we have seen that our farmers are the most important people in this country. They are the ones that every day get up and they toil from morning until evening so that you and I can have nutritious homegrown food on your tables or on our tables, my table, your table. At the end of the day, we all must eat, and we thank our farmers for that. We remind them that Newport First and Jamaica Limited is only a highway away. We're only a phone call away. We're always there to support our farmers, and we hope that they continue to give us that opportunity to grow their yields, to bring our precise nutrient management system to their farms, and as we walk hand in hand down the road, as we say in Jamaica, we will make it right through COVID and beyond.
I would say to Jamaica's farmers that you are so important. You've been important all along, but even more now. The joy and thought of being able to wake up each day and put food on someone's table to keep them alive and nourished is something that you should be extremely proud of. And so for that reason, we salute you. You too, in your own sense, are a frontline worker out in the field every day, putting in a sweat equity. And we know how hard it is. We know the market has contracted, but we're all here helping. And if Say Yes to Fresh continues and we see the uptake and the continued uptake, I know in the future we are going to be fine. Jamaica is a beautiful, wonderful place. We are the diamond in the rough. We always find a way to come out on top. And I know it's going to be the same for our farmers.
I just want to encourage you and to assure you that RADA is here for you. And whatever we can do to assist you in get back into production, we will facilitate as much as possible and keep doing what you are doing best. And the food security of this country rests in your hands. So be mindful of that.
I would like to say to our farmers that I know a lot of them have been through challenging times, but challenge isn't new for the Jamaican farmer. And what we've proven time and time again is that we're resilient beyond measure. So I would want to say to them, this is actually can be the best time of your life to be in agriculture. So go back out into the field, plant. We have gotten through the first part of this crisis with no real challenge to our food security. We want to keep that going, but that can only happen for farmers and our fishermen continue to go out, continue to do their jobs and continue to support us. So I want them to know that we appreciate them. They are also frontline workers. They do form part of our essential service. I want to tell them to keep safe, but to continue farming.
The king may rule over land and sea. The Lord may live right royally. The soldier ride in pomp and pride. The sailor roam over ocean wide. But this or that, whatever befall, the farmer, he must feed them all. The writer thinks, the poet sings. The craftsman fashion wondrous things. The doctor heals, the lawyer pleads, the miner follows the precious leads. But this or that, whatever befall, the farmer, he must feed them all. The merchant, he may buy and sell, the teacher do his duty well. But men may toil through busy days, or men may stroll through pleasant ways. From king to beggar, whatever befall, the farmer, he must feed them all. The farmer's trade is one of worth. He's partner with the sky and earth. He's partner with the sun and rain, and no man loses for his gain. And men may rise, or men may fall, but the farmer, he must feed them all. God bless the man who sows the beet, who finds us milk and fruit and meat. May his purse be heavy, his heart be light, his cattle and pigs and all go right. God bless the seeds his hands let fall, for the farmer, he must feed us all.